That's where Edinburgh crews join up with the 30 starters from Oslo. The weather is in true Monte Carlo style, as the cars make their way across France and into Belgium. And it's here that a blizzard greets the drivers at the time control at Ypres. A shock absorber problem. Most of the crews have made it this far without trouble. And by now, Don and Margaret Pither in the little Austin A40 have been leading the pack. As the cars hustle on, there are time controls to check your progress. The bad weather means that a number of crews are running up penalties for lateness. At Diesford, drivers go across the River Moselle. David Steele steers a middle-of-the-road course. This is the Belcher-Bellinger Austin A40, and he's followed closely by Captain Bibb, the ex-Coldstream Guards officer in the black Austin Westminster. With no modern conveniences like service crews, competitors have to carry all their own equipment, like this Daimler crew with the traditional roof rack. Onwards now, it's just a matter of endurance.
As the competitors take an overnight halt, we'll take a break on Power Sports and return in a couple of minutes with more from the 1991 Monte Carlo Challenge.
After the Pillars Austin A40. On the snow, the Triumph TR3 holds off a DKW from Norway. But it's the Scandinavians, like this Volvo crew, who love the ice and snow most of all. David Steele's Zephyr has lost its windscreen washers, and he perhaps thinks longingly of the heat of the House of Commons as the heater stopped working as well. Jolly's Alvis Speed 25 proves itself to be fleet of foot in the snow. That's a famous mountain climb in the Vosges Mountains. This is Monte Carlo rally country at its best. Indeed, this is how the rally used to be, and some say that it should be like this again. If the Lancia is going well, and the Standard 8 too, there's a problem here for an Alvis. Roland Simmons has failed to make the corner and slid off the road into the trees. An inquiry from another competitor to kick. But help is at hand for the luckless Alvis crew, as Bill Bryce and Dennis Green, with the Land Rover Discovery, ex-Abingdon rally mechanic, know all about this sort of gremlin and how to get cars first test times to the second on the Ballon d'Alsace. A regularity trial is a race against the clock. There are 4 of them on the event, and this is where both driver and co-driver have to work closely together. The Porter's Mercedes makes its way up the hill. They, like all the drivers, will have to observe a very strict discipline. John Brown, clerk of the course, explains how it's finding grip on the icy mountain. And they set the winning time, beating Longgammons by 4 seconds. traction is not the strong point of this Ford Zephyr. By now, the trip meter has gone berserk. The driver's not too happy, and I'm sure the navigator feels very little different. The Sunbeam Rapier seems also to be able to maintain forward progress, while pre-war cars like this Ford V8 Tourer from Norway seem to revel in the conditions, and Dag Johansson has clearly done the Monte Carlo rally before. Hating it are the highly tuned cars, like David Skittrell's Porsche, despite the engine being at the back. A total contrast here to number 55, the MGA of Charnock and mine here. Even if the gear change is a little rough, they maintain forward motion. Another example of this is the Bellinger Porsche Optimate. It's critical even if the car gets sideways to keep those wheels rolling. They're going well. And here a very unusual car, the three-cylinder two-stroke Auto Union of Uhlenberg and Hutzet. But from the exotic to the inexpensive, Morris Minor's Cope Manfred. Who said the Monte Carlo rally has to be expensive? Laidlaw and Adrian prove otherwise. Beckley and Granger are restoring faith in the 356 Porsche in these conditions, while Roger Ludgate wishes perhaps that he hadn't got quite as much power. It just shows what a difficult task it is to maintain the 37 kilometers per hour average on this challenging Ballon d'Alsace pass. The predecessor to the 1.5 rally in rallying as far as DMC were concerned,
Italian Maestros won the third event in the World Rally Championship every year since 1987. Will this year be his fifth? The Portuguese Rally, Sunday, March the 24th.
Antonsen 144 volt. And here's little Lancia, number 54 of Thorn and Silverleaf. As the sun comes out, there's wet ice about. And here are the porters with the big Mercedes. A typical Monte scene as the Riley 1.5 of the Bannon hustles along, followed by John Hanley with the Volvo. The two university students, Macaulay and Bonin, are in the side valve Ford Popular, on their way to 11th overall and the Spirit of the Rally Award, while the Morgan has driven all the way with the roof down. He's followed by the Charnock mine here, MGA. The ZB Magnet is going well here too. Brophy, Fitzgerald and McGibbs. The sheer variety of the cars, the sizes of engines, quite amazing. The little Austin Healey Sprite of Stevens and Jefferson, the big Aston Martin of Thompson. Delgado and Taylor, a top 20 finish for them in the Zephyr, and the half-pennies MGA. It's on now to the Col de Rosset, one of the tricky. Don Pither is now working very hard to hold off the MGA of Gammons. Contrast the driving style and the handling. The Mercedes, typical rally style. Nicky Porter at the wheel, his father beside him. And the Guideman Jakobsen Volvo, reveling in the conditions. Handley with his Volvo. And the modicum of opposite lock and oversteer from the Porsche. David Ansell's father lost his life rallying a Healy as he fearlessly lifted the Sunbeam Rapier to 10th place overall. There's a high wind and it's very cold, particularly for Peter Shards in the little MGTC, but the very skinny tyres are proving just right for conditions like this. David Steele in the big Zephyr gets caught out here, and the students in the Ford just about avoid him. They seize their chance and overtake. Steele continues with his three-point turn in an awkward place. Meanwhile, along come the Bannons, and they too are able to make up some ground. After all that, never has dry tarmac in the valley below been so welcome. It's a chance for cars such as the Morgans and the Healy 3000 to begin to exploit their performance at last. This is a Shakespeare's version, not using perhaps quite so many revs as on the Manx Classic. The three Scots